Today I fucked up by telling my minor coworker to nail me. This actually happened today and I'm still embarrassed 5 hours later. For a little context, I'm 22, and work in a garden center in a management position. Occasionally we have to build certain structures like frames and tiered displays etc. So today I enlisted the help of my 16-year-old male coworker for help with a project. He was holding the flashlight, so to say, handing over tools and whatnot. Well, I needed a nail. So instead of just saying so like a normal person, I blurted, "Hey, nail me," and instantly realized how wrong it sounded. He let out a giggle and said something like, I don't think, that's not," and I replied, "Oh, you know what I meant." But it doesn't end there. I then escaped to the back room to die and also tell my other, adult, coworker what I accidentally said. So I proceeded to explain to my coworker, who's holding scissors, "You know, like if you're helping me and I need those, I hold out my hand and I say, 'Scissor me.' No. That's not what I say, ever again, unless it's a beer, because that's the only item that sounds appropriate to use the phrase with and I will never live this down." Too long did not read. Today I, the manager, innocently but embarrassingly, told one coworker to nail me and another to scissor me all within 5 minutes. Great. One day many years ago my boss came over to help a female coworker with computer issues. He asked to sit down in her chair to do the work, which was apparently very warm because he then loudly exclaimed something to the effect of, "Geez, your ass is hot," before realizing how that came out and proceeded to turn several shades of red before trying to quickly clarify he was talking about the temperature of the seat. "At least you didn't say screw me. Hammer. Pound me screwdriver. Screw me railroad tie. Rail me vacuum cleaner." And on it goes. I, 22 male, was working on a film set as a production assistant with an attractive young woman, similar in age. We were working on different tasks and ended up in the equipment tent at the same time. I made a finger gun at her just to kind of acknowledge her presence. She looked at me raising an eyebrow and said, "What?" I promptly and without thinking responded, "Oh, nothing, I just wanted to bang you." The mental facepalm hit me instantly as I realized what I had just said. Luckily she knew I hadn't intended to blatantly hit on her and we laughed it off. To this day, however, it is one of the smoothest, accidental lines that has come out of my mouth. Good thing they weren't holding cock. It's okay. Any 16-year-old boy who gets told, "Nail me," by their boss, whether it's this situation or not, is gone giggle, and continue on like nothing happened. This is only going to happen because he is trying to not think about actually nailing you. HR would like to discuss recent comments and conduct. If it makes you feel any better, today at work I accidentally caught my manager's hand with my nail as I was reaching past her and loudly exclaimed, "Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I nailed you. So yeah, if we could start a petition to stop using the word nail as a verb, that'd be fab." Today I fucked up by not standing by my GF. So, this happened last night actually, but I digress. My 28 male girlfriend, 28 female, and I went to Universal Studios for a friend's b-day. We were having a good time going through the mazes. Then, we decide to check out the Mummy ride. And that's where shit goes downhill. We spent about an hour and some change waiting in line. Finally, we make it to the front. The ride seats 4 people a row, so it's me, my GF, and 2 of her friends. Girlfriend goes first, and I decide to be a gentleman and let her friends get seated before me. So, the seats are as follows. Me, friend, GF. There's just one problem. My girlfriend can't get her seat restrainer all the way down. Yes, after the events, she disclosed to me that she's pushing 300 and has never felt so big. After a minute of trying to get it down, the operator tells her that she's gotta come off so the ride can go. She obliges. The other problem is that I'm locked in my seat, and can't be by her side. I'm bad with social cues, but I know I should have spoken up and asked to be let off too. For the record, the ride wasn't worth the wait. What drives me even crazier is that I had her phone on me for safekeeping. So in that moment, I know she must have really felt by herself. After the ride, I'm panicking looking for her, and find her crying on the bench. I tell her how sorry I am, and she tells me how embarrassing that was for her. It doesn't help that she's recently told me that she doesn't like how she looks. I really can't imagine how that must have felt. I just wish I could redo that moment and just be beside her. Too long did not read. My girlfriend was too big to get on a ride, and I deeply regret not getting off and being with her. TBH, I say this as someone that could stand to loss more than a few. I would have not wanted you to insist on getting off as well. That would only draw attention to it. I would have wanted to just quickly get off and gotten the hell out of there. It doesn't sound like she was mad you didn't off. I was sitting on a bench outside the Mummy ride waiting for my family to finish the ride. I was reading a map deciding what I wanted to do, and a bird shit on my shoulder. Tell her that story. Maybe it'll make her feel better. Guy's op did not ask for weight loss advice on behalf of his GF. Should probably focus on the fuck up. You didn't fuck up op, it was just unlucky timing. I can be pretty slow with this sort of thing, to be honest. This whole thing probably made her feel really down. I hope you can help reassure her. You seem like a good guy. I had a similar issue, but I was too big for a ride. On our honeymoon, and it was a Harry Potter ride. My wife is nerdier than me, so I was happy she could go. After a few hours in a queue, staff eyeballed me and took me aside, and they were quite diplomatic. My wife wanted to not go, but I convinced her to do it, and enjoy. I'd been too big for a ride before, upper torso too chunky. But the safety cage had closed and locked. I just couldn't breathe effectively for a few minutes. They said sorry it won't lock, and I asked them to try again, so two of them pushed until it locked, and I gave a thumbs up. It was called the cliffhanger. That was an unpleasant experience. First off, you're crazy, that ride is amazing. Cheeky wink. Second, try not to beat yourself up too bad. I'm sure she wouldn't have wanted everyone to get off, which may have happened if you then insisted. It was just a crummy situation all around. Just be there for her now. Let her know you love her and support her. Just try to make her feel better. But I agree, I don't think it was a fuck up. It wasn't gonna feel good for her no matter what. I have been there. When my daughter was younger, we were at a theme park and she wanted to ride one of the kids-themed roller coasters. It was a normal but mild coaster with normal seats, so I thought I would be fine. We get to the ride and I can't get it patched. I have to hurry my daughter off and out the exit while she's pleading with my wanting to know why we can't ride. Fortunately, they let my wife come in through the exit and ride with her on the next set of cars. Riding coasters with her has become one of the main drivers of maintaining my weight through the years. The best parks are the ones who have test seats at the entrance to the lines, so you can be sure you're okay before committing. Sucks, and you should definitely support her, but this isn't that huge of a fuck up, emo. As long as you were supportive after you got to her, you're fine. Nothing worth deeply regretting. She's an adult and can handle being alone for 2 minutes. Ah, poor girl. I hope she's doing okay, sad face. Today I fucked up by telling my boss I was a power bottom. Obligatory happened a few years ago. Also on mobile, sorry for typos. Worked for a guy moving all types of shit. Furniture, fountains, nursery plants and trees, whatever. When I first started, my boss and I were tasked with carrying a particularly heavy couch up a set of stairs. You want top or bottom? My boss asked. Bottom. I'm a power bottom, I joked. He didn't laugh or anything, just picked up the top and started guiding it up the stairs. Turned out my boss thought I looked like a smaller guy, and was pretty surprised I was able to handle the bottom of the couch. After that, he started regularly referring to me as power bottom. Guys had to move a 500 pounds fountain bowl up a ramp? Let power bottom grab a corner. Coworker asking my boss to move a solid wood desk to the 3rd floor? Take the power bottom. The guys I worked with thought it was hilarious, but never told him to keep the joke going. Plus it became my nickname on the team. Cut to a few weeks later and my boss is at our local small-town dive bar. He's telling a few of his buddies about his business, when one of his friends asks him if he can help him move a several hundred lb saltwater fish tank. Yeah, you should see this power bottom on my team. He'll getcha, fixed right up. As my boss told me the next day, the surrounding bar fell silent, as one of his friends explained what a power bottom was. He was ridiculed the rest of the night. Needless to say, he gave me a punch in the arm and never called me power bottom again, although the guys on the team would. Too long did not read. Told my boss I was a power bottom. He thought it meant I was good at moving furniture until one of his redneck buddies told him it wasn't. It's the today I fucked up daily double. First it was your foo, then it was your boss's. Tears of joy. Now Dennis, I've heard that speed has something to do with it. After that, he started regularly referring to me as power bottom. I loudly and involuntarily yelled, "Oh no, here. What does it mean? I'm not sure I want that in my history." I had a strange moment the other day with my boss. I took a week off because I was puking and whatnot. I've been back a week and he comes to the job. He asks if I'm feeling better. I say I am, but mornings still kind of suck. He chuckles and says, "What, you getting morning sickness?" I laugh and say, "I don't know, I just can't keep of 'em." I don't even know what I was trying to say, but he awkwardly walked away and I didn't say anything else. Ah yes, the Freudian slip. I don't want to sound demanding but went stalking your post history, and am disappointed with the acute lack of powerbottoming posts. What's a powerbottom? Today I fucked up by making my date throw me out of his bar. And #X200B. For the past month or so, I'd been dating the manager of a hip local venue. He's a really interesting, really good-looking guy, pretty much all positives as far as I've seen. I can't get enough of him and can't keep my hands off him. He's been a real pleasant surprise after a hellish 2020, most of 2021, and it's felt like I had something to look forward to for the first time in a long while. I'm a part-time model. I was in a show in town over the weekend. He'd really wanted to attend and get to watch me do my thing, but couldn't get out of work for that night. I told him that if he couldn't come, I'd stop by to visit him at work afterward, still in hair and makeup. The long-anticipated show went well enough. Reception was good. No one fell, no wardrobe malfunctions. Good show. No complaints here. It had been a long day, though, and I was really looking forward to getting to see him. After everything was over, I went to his bar as promised, still in very elaborate hair and professionally done makeup, albeit in my own clothing, of course. I walked in there feeling so confident. His response to seeing me was positive and flattering. He made me a cocktail and checked in with me when he was able, in between taking care of other customers. I chatted with a couple others sitting around me, and ultimately had 3 drinks over the course of about 2 hours. It was a nice time, until it wasn't. From around midnight to 2 a.m. is a completely blank space in my memory. I remember waking up on the floor in the bathroom in a daze, being told that I had to leave because it was closing time, and having the guy I'd been seeing help to pick me up and try to escort me out, help me get a ride home somehow while also having to do work things. I eventually made it back home safely, texted the guy to let him know, and went to bed. Next morning, I awoke to no further messages, some major dehydration, and a massive dark cloud of embarrassment over my head. Now, if you can believe it, I don't exactly have a history of this degree of messiness. This sort of thing has absolutely never happened to me before. I don't and never have had a drinking problem. I've never even used drugs. I've been able to have that many if not a few more drinks without a problem, many times before. Hell, I've had more than 3 drinks in this guy's company before and been fine. I can't think of a solid reason as for why that happened, and I am mortified that it had to happen that night, and of all places at the workplace of the guy I've been wanting to impress, where I probably won't be able to go back. I was able to call him and talk to him about it, trying to explain that this is extremely atypical, and apologized if I embarrassed him at work. He was nice about it, but told me that he needs some time to think about whether he still wants to see me after this. I do not feel optimistic. All I can think about is how I should have just had 1 drink and gone home, and how I'm going to have to be very careful with how much I drink in public from here on out. What should have been an awesome night is now a huge bummer in my memory. Too long did not read. Had what seemed like an okay amount of drinks but wasn't, passed out drunk in the workplace of the guy I've been dating, future now uncertain. Super bummed. Edit. Thank you for all of the concern you've shown, and the awards, wow, for me, today. I am very hesitant to suspect that I was drugged. I just can't think of a time when it would have happened, and without someone nearby seeing it. Anyway, it would be too late now to test for that sort of thing. To clarify a few things. The person who made me the drinks confirmed that I only had 3, over the span of about 2 hours. At 5 feet 10 and 150 pounds, I'm not a starving waif. I had a dinner of 2 slices of pizza a few hours before, and thought that would be enough. I've never blacked out like that despite drinking equal amounts on an empty, or mostly empty, stomach before. It is possible I was dehydrated, or just tired. I am a fairly regular drinker, but it's possible that my tolerance is lessening with age. Ultimately, that night, I acted within the parameters of what has previously not been risky behavior for me, but I do still consider it a fuck-up because of the way I got smacked upside the head with the end results. I am definitely going to be more careful, going forward. I'm just really hoping that this guy is able to understand where I'm coming from and not write me off because of this. Sounds to me like your drink got spiked. I had my drink in college spiked and it was fucking awful. A very good friend of mine had his drink spiked in early 2020 and he unfortunately passed away from it. Hate to be the guy that assumes the worst, but in all honesty, if the amount of drinks you say you had was accurate, this sounds like your drink was spiked and somehow making it to the ladies' restroom possibly saved you. You should have him, if possible, review the security footage of the bar and see if at any time, if your drink was unattended or not, if anyone's hands went near your drink when you were possibly not paying attention. Could come to find there's a serious predator hanging around that bar. Ayo, you sure your drinks weren't spiked or anything? Kind of a weird reaction on your date's part to not assume something was seriously wrong and focus more on his own ego. Sounds like all in all you dodged 2 bullets if one of your drinks were spiked, which sounds like the case. Sounds like you were drugged and not just too drunk after 3 drinks. But if you hadn't consumed much food or drink that day, it's plausible that 3 drinks might do it. Get yourself drug tested. Sounds like you might have been roofied. You were absolutely drugged. I've seen this same situation many times and no one wakes up on the bathroom floor after 3 drinks someone 100% spiked you. Sorry to hear. I think someone slipped you something, especially if you don't remember 2 hours and woke up on the floor in the bathroom. Not cool at all. He should have known that you only had 3 drinks in 2 hours and something is wrong with that, especially as a bartender. Hopefully it wasn't him.